Happy Wednesday. Happy summer solstice. It's a very special blissful cooking practice class today. We're doing something really, really simple, but it is a summer solstice. And so I guess I want to invite in, that energy of like lots of light, lots of abundance, the most sort of growing and exciting time of year. Just appreciating, being grateful, I think, for all that we have and all that we are given, I think is key to today. So that's going to be something, my intention is going to be bringing in all that energy into what we do. And I think even bringing that into this very simple dish that we're making of beans in a miso broth is perfect, because we can think of this kind of food as very humble. It's like, okay, we're using very few ingredients. It's beans. It's super inexpensive. It's super simple. How can we get the most pleasure from this? And it's possible. I think rather than thinking of these things like, it's like to really notice all the pleasure that's there and then amp it up with our awareness can bring us to new heights of pleasure in our everyday lives. Like if we can find a way to make something simple easy, or something simple really pleasurable, then we can transfer that to all these other experiences in our lives, all these other everyday experiences. And really that's the key to a good life, is to take what you have, your daily activities, these simple parts of our existence, and make them into something, or you don't have to make them, just allow yourself to notice how pleasurable they actually are. And suddenly every moment of your day is blissful. So with that said, let's do some breathing. Let's do Nadi Shodhana today. It's the balancing breath, where we we're first going to breathe into our right nostril and then out our left, in through our left, out through our right. And we're going to do that. We're going to bring our hand up and block our left nostril and inhale through the right. Up to the comfortable peak. And then exhale, close the right and exhale at the left. Slowly, as slowly as you can manage. And then inhale. Block the left and exhale at the right. Inhale through the right. Exhale left. Inhale. Exhale at the right. And continue on your own for a few rounds, trying to just focus on making the breath as long as possible, as smooth as possible, and just focus on that. And let your final exhale be out of the left nostril. And then let's stop that and just notice how we feel. This breath does so much for us. Balances the left and right hemisphere of the brain. Right is sort of associated with masculinity, with the energy of doing and fire and sun. And the left is the more receiving, the moon energy, the cooling. And we want these to be in balance. To give and to receive, to do and to be are equal. Both are easeful. Let's place our hands at heart center, set our intention for this class. Okay, let's get started. So simple, you guys, almost kind of goofy. I have scallions here. I have a bunch of them, but I think this is probably way more than I need. They're a little bit past their prime, so I'm going to have to do a tiny bit of sort of prepping them, getting some of the skin that has gotten a little wilty and wet off of here. So just bear with me and go slowly yourself. We're making something so simple. We want to take our time with it and just appreciate every little bit. Like I said, I think that's my intention here with this class, is to bring as much pleasure to this simplest thing, to show how we can have that experience in absolutely anything. It does not have to be, these bigger meals, like some of the ones that we've made that have more steps and more ingredients. And just appreciate things exactly as they are. So you have 3 little scallions ready. I think the recipe calls for just 3 to 4, but I'm going to do this whole bunch. I'm just kind of enjoying this slightly slimy skin. And you know what else I'm appreciating for myself is that I'm using this now. It is starting to go a little past its prime. It's getting icky. And I'm using it today before it gets any ickier. And that's wonderful. That is a win. I don't like to waste food, but sometimes happens. And sometimes things go past what I want them to. And right now I can just appreciate and be grateful to myself that today I'm still getting the most out of this. And grateful for what that experience feels like. Something very simply fulfilling about that. Okay. Wonderful. This recipe is so simple. It's whoopsie. It's butter and beans and scallions with a little lemon juice. And that's perfect. So just do keep it that simple. But I had a little bit of basil that's also going. It's on the verge of not being good anymore. So I'm going to add that into mine for this intention of just using up what we have around. And then I'm also, because of the flavor profile, I just have some ginger. I'm going to add a little bit of ginger in as well with the miso and the scallions. So I think it'll just complement it, and I have it. What a nice crunchy sound. I'm just going to grab my microplane as well, and grate some ginger. It's just a small amount of beans that we're doing, so I think that's probably enough. Ooh, spicy. In that special ginger way that is so different from the heat of chilies. Yeah, and let's just prepare everything over here, and then we'll go over to the stove. We have our scallions, we have our ginger, and now we're gonna have our basil, and we're gonna use all of this. I'm gonna really go, yeah, we're gonna use every usable bit. There are some bits of this basil that are no longer really okay. Yeah, that one's not. It's when they get just too brown. It's basically, you can tell through the smell, I think, the most with almost, well, food in general, but especially with herbs. It's like, so this is getting dark and it's like wet feeling. That's like, okay, I don't know, I guess the scientific thing is it's like the cells are breaking down too much and it starts to smell. And we don't want that anymore. It's not going to be good. But this one has some brown spots, but still feels like a beautiful, vital leaf. So that one can work. I have this one friend who calls me and texts me so frequently about, is this thing okay to still use? It's past this date or whatever. I know it's something that a lot of people struggle with, figuring out when and how to use things. I'm very liberal. I use things up to the last possible moment. Like if they're not gross, I'm use it. But everyone sort of has their own, I think, comfort zone. And I tend to go with what my senses tell me, which is if my senses are not saying disgust response, then it's still something that I can eat for the most part. But of course, this is dependent on a lot of factors. This friend of mine has an immunocompromised system, and so he's always so careful. And so, of course, he wants to take that into account, which is so important for his body, right? So we all need to take care of our bodies the way that we are supposed to. Sorry, I'm just dealing with some extra scallions over here. So there we go. And then we have our miso. We have our lemon. I'm just going to cut the lemon in half for use in the future. Now all of our stuff is prepared. Oh, and then we have, I have cooked chickpeas from the other day. You can absolutely use a can of beans here. It's fabulous. Whatever, it's a cup of beans or so that this recipe calls for. I think mine is more than that, a little bit more, but that's what I've got. I'm going to bring my little station over here. And then I'm going to bring the camera. So bear with me for a moment. All right, wonderful. I'm going to do it in this pot today. Oh, so let's enjoy this, right? Okay. We're going to do, butter, they call for, but I'm realizing I need to get that out of the fridge. So butter, and then we're going to cook the scallions in the butter. Well, that's more than I need. Okay. That's about right. Maybe a little more. It's such a simple recipe. Okay, so let's let it melt. And I can hear the hiss of I have a gas stove. Or whatever kind of stove you have, whatever heating method. Just hear that, and I can feel the heat coming off of it, the steam starting to happen. Quite beautiful. And I'm just grabbing I really like using a spatula. You could use a wooden spoon, any old kind of thing. I've got this on fairly high heat. I'm going to just turn it to medium. Slightly toasted butter smell. Very pleasurable. So this is a like little bean, like very simple dish for one. I believe is the intention of it. But you could make a larger quantity of this, of course, and feed more people. But it's kind of nice to just try something like this and see what you like. See if it's nice. Oh, it smells so good. I'm already like thinking about the end and like maybe putting some, I have some leftover za'atar breadcrumbs. Just a few, I might like put those on top instead of serving it with toast. Or some, and just what I have around right now, like maybe pumpkin seeds. Quite fun. Okay, so we have sizzling. Now we're gonna add our scallions. You know what? If I was clever, I would have saved some for the top just to sprinkle and look beautiful, but I didn't, so that's okay. Oh, it smells so nice. Oh, the butter. Wow. I am not mad at that at all. And I'm going to do, the recipe calls for 2 teaspoons. I'm going to eyeball it of miso. And okay, miso, oh my gosh. There's so many different kinds you can get. There's like darker, lighter. The darker are usually the more strongly flavored. The lighter ones are a bit more subtle. But amazing, salty, beautiful thing that you can add to, so just think of it as like flavor paste, right? That you could add to all kinds of things. And so this is a nice, of course, it's like most traditionally, probably think of it as in soup, and the way that it sort of moves around and becomes this beautiful, like miso soup, if you've ever had it, it's like constantly in between being homogeneous and like flowing into this other state, which is quite beautiful. And so we're going to add it in now. And I'm just going to sort of squish it up. I hope you guys can see this a little bit. I know it's a little challenging with the angle. I'm just going to kind of like let it just squish it up. I think I would often do this with like tomato paste or something too. Just let it get in the heat with the butter or the oil and let the flavor just get all over everything. And so now I'm going to add the ginger as well. Just let that see some heat. Okay, and it's starting to stick to the bottom of the pan in the middle here. So now we will save the day by adding our beans and our broth. In my case, chickpeas, which are a type of bean. And then that is going to immediately allow me to lift that miso that was getting stuck on the bottom of the pan. Suddenly, it's all lifted off. That's what deglazing is called. Oh, it looks so nice. There we go. Okay. And that is basically that. Now all we have to do is just relax for a little. Oh my goodness, I have to put scallion in my miso. We don't want that. It's called contamination. And so we're just going to finish the dish with lemon juice and this basil that I've added. And that'll be that. Hope you guys can kind of see it. It's a little bit, I know, funny angle, but that's what we're going for. If that's what you're seeing, you're doing it just right. I am going to just taste it quickly to see if it needs salt. Miso is so salty that I'm uncertain about adding additional salt, but When dishes are so simple like this, we always want to make sure they're salted though, properly. That's really good. Really nice already. Really nice. Oh, I'm even like, you could finish this with sesame oil too. I think that would be good. I think that's salty enough. Maybe a tiny bit of salt. And just, yeah, the lemon juice, the basil at the end, I bet will be, wow. Wow, love it. And yeah, and you can really, the flavor of the miso is so pronounced, and I think the beans will probably suck a lot more of that flavor into their bodies. And we can eat them. Right now I'm just feeling so soothed by this bubbling pot. And the steam coming off. Just take some deep breaths. There's just so much to say at a time like this. I could, of course, as always, talk about something. Infinite subjects to talk about, but what I would love for you, what I think would be so meaningful for our lives, is to actually just be here with this and take it in as much as you can, how pleasurable it is to just listen, to be quiet and still for a little while. This is the magic, this is the brain-changing magic that leads us down the road to that better life that's already here, but we're just able to see it. And just be quiet with me for a few minutes. You don't have to do a formal meditation. I just felt, and it's okay if you're feeling something different, really. But I just felt a wave of just happiness. I don't even know where it came from, what it's about, just to be here. And you just have to get quiet enough to notice that you're actually really happy and satisfied. It's funny to think, so many of us are chasing happiness, right? As though we can make it, but it's already there. We just have to, it's like more that we have to scrape away all the stuff that gets put on us, all the beliefs, all the things that we're supposed to have in order to be happy, and just notice that actually, yeah, we already are. It is beautiful just to be alive. And the practice of looking past everything to feel into that is, what, honestly, the most worthwhile of my entire life, by far, by far. That's why I share it with you in this way. I believe this is it. And it's okay if sometimes what you're really feeling is profound sadness, grief, anger. I know I've shown up to these classes this way over our time together, even so far, let alone hopefully how long. I hope we'll keep doing this and grow the community and be able to experience so many things together. But we'll feel something for a while, but it doesn't mean that it needs to be there. I think we are always able to find our bliss past everything. That is who we are. That is our natural state. These other emotions, they're so useful and they're wonderful. I am the number one fan of emotions as one of the greatest teachers that we have. But they're not there to stay. They're there to come through, tell us something, and leave. And so if what you're feeling right now isn't that, it just means you have some stuff to clear out. We all do. Let's check on this. It's looking, oh yeah, looking a little thicker. I think I'm gonna actually turn the heat off. I'm gonna squeeze some lemon. I'm gonna squeeze the lemon over my hand so that I can catch the seeds that are definitely gonna fall. I can see them already. And the juice will flow through my fingers. Whoop, whoop. There, got a couple seeds. Whoop. One fell in. Oh gosh, another fell in. It's okay. We'll just get them out. I can see them. 1, 2 little lemon seeds. 1, 2. Just chuck them in the sink, and now I'm gonna just, oh yeah, it smells wonderful. And all this baby, well, almost all. Save a little bit maybe for my bowl for prettiness. Gorgeous. Get my bowl. I'm just gonna taste it. Oh wow, wonderful. So bright and flavorful with so few ingredients. Pretty impressive. Okay, I'm gonna grab a ladle. And ladle these little cuties into a bowl. Beautiful. A few more basil leaves. And yeah, I think I'm gonna do, well, hold on a second. Let me just bring you back over to this side where it's easier. Okay, perfectly fine. So I'm gonna do some of these za'atar breadcrumbs on top for me. I hope you feel good. And if you don't feel good, maybe you are experiencing some more difficult emotions, know that it will pass. And that what you're feeling is important for your life. and just let the information be there, even if it kind of hurts. It's for you. Wow. Oh! The heat of you can see all that steam rising. I like got some in my nose. It was a little painful. Just lovely. You know, you could even do more. I'm gonna actually do even more lemon juice because I am a lemon juice fan. And I'm loving the citric counterpoint to the salty miso. I'm gonna just maybe slightly overdo it, but I get to. And you know what? If it's a bit of not as good as it was before, then oopsie doo, and I learned something. So let's try. Yeah. For me, more lemon juice. For you, who knows? You could also do hot sauce. I mean, you guys get it, right? This is simple. This is wonderful. I keep talking about I keep saying, let's be simple, and then adding more. That's how hard it can be sometimes, really, to embrace simplicity. To just actually accept that breathing and living is all we need to be happy. What? Just so countercultural to everything that we're told, and it can be really hard to believe. But my body tells me that it is true. So here we are. Thank you so much for joining us, and I will see you next time. I think we're going to do the summer solstice salad that I'm going to share in this weekend's newsletter. So next week will be even more summery. Thank you, and I'll talk to you next time.